And welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host, Juan Cena, and with me, CWL Commissioner Mr. Anderson, PRO and IWAR Commissioner Matt Riley. How you guys doing tonight?
Amazing, thank you. How are you?
Better than most people.
Tremendous!
So guys, this is our September cycle in review. And we're going to start off, it's September. Man. So this episode, we're going to start off with the NWL cycle number 119. The league champion, Bookworm, TV champion, Timothy Zabapowski, Atlantic champion, Matthew Grabowski, Central champion, Dirty Mike, Dixie champion, Gadius Xanatos, Eastern champion, Johnny Russellfest, Mountain champion, the author of Agony, LePage Turner, Northern champion, the American Patriot, Pacific champion, Calvin Daniel French, Prairie champion, The Nightmare, Johnny Carnage, Southern champion, Bruce Inferno, Western champion, Death, Tag team champion, The Nightmare, Johnny Carnage, and Derek Dark, TV Tag Team Champions, Mayhem and Chaos, Six-Man Tag Team Champions, winning 5 free matches. Friday Night Joe Fantastic, Beautiful Blake Valentine, Stunning Steve Larson. TV Six-Man Champions, Bruce Inferno, Galley Galaxy, and the Bookworm. So Matt, what's going down in the NWL?
There's too much action to cover.
There's a lot going down. We have interesting notes from the title page. Bookworm is the third member of Blazer Corp to win the championship. And we have the Star Factory with the Six-Man Championship retaining. This cycle was the result cycle for the Clash of the Champions 3 pay-per-view, Rumble in the Bronx number 3 there. So that will be appearing in this next issue. So most of them know the results. I won't go into them right now because we'll have them next cycle. I will just say that Luther Alexander makes a surprise appearance in the main event.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Should note that also IWAR wise, and I know the rookies really enjoy entering these contests, the specialty championships will be contested soon, so pick up your championships and get in there and give it a try. As far as the league goes, there is still fallout from the entire roster beating on one man, his getting revenge. The hilarity that's ensued. Big Bad Bob is still sending in fantastic artwork. He is watching you. If you didn't know, he is watching you.
Who's he watching?
I don't know. Apparently not the patient stalker, so whatever happened to that guy. We get a promo from the Amish Terror, Moses Yoder, so I'm happy to see that because I thought he went inactive. I will remind rookies again, a couple of things. One, if you're listening to this, thank you. 2, give the How to Win in the IWA video a watch. It'll help you kind of get a better hold on the holds. And 3, if you didn't know, there are other leagues besides the NWL. I don't want to blow anybody's mind, but there are other leagues outside of the NWL.
The other IWAR league.
No, there's leagues even beyond that.
No.
About 60 some odd leagues, yeah. So
true.
Check out the IWA homepage to learn more. There was a return Trash Talk appearance by Sloth, this time with Trash Talk, talking about his plan to come in and win championships. If you're a fan of Sloth from Goonies, you'll enjoy the Trash Talk.
It looks like he's going after Big Bad Bob because on the bottom underneath the tombstone it says Bob is next.
Well, there it is. So what Trash Talk did you fellows enjoy?
My pick may come as no surprise. I do want to say again that we've talked about it before, and we talked about it before we started the show tonight, but NWL Trash Talk is really, really strong right now. Continues to be really strong. But the one I'm going to talk about, Late Night Logan Kane, who we've come to realize is about halfway or not even halfway through his rookie year, and already I feel like has established himself as somebody to be reckoned with. But he talks about Lee Page Turner destroying the set, but not really destroying the man behind the set. Good stuff there. But then he talks about how he needs somebody to kind of help him to combat this group of Triple Threat and Billy Club, managed by Sean Bradley.
Yeah.
And instead of picking the sidekick, he picks the chameleon. And so the sidekick is really upset, and he goes back, and the first half is really good, right? But the second half, where Sean Bradley's mom drops him off, is some of the funniest stuff I've read at minimum this year. It is hilarious. She drops him off in a PT Cruiser.
It's probably purple.
It's all this typical mom stuff. If you didn't read it, I highly suggest that you look up the bulletin. And,
Sean Bradley, why is your socks always so sticky?
Yeah, I mean, just like it's just bird after bird. It's really, really good. So shout out to Logan Kane for another strong trash talk.
I'm not an oil boy. I'm a manager.
He's an oil boy. And then for me, again, the chameleon off the charts once again. He's talking about LePage Turner. He's talking about the American Patriot. He's talking about Wyatt, the Outlaw Corral. He's talking about Jordan Drake. But then at the bottom here, we see a sneak attack on the American Patriot by a masked luchador. So they go back and forth, and then finally, the American Patriot's about to unmask the masked luchador, and we're all thinking that it's going to be the chameleon. But it's not. It's Chief Booga Wooga. American Patriot asked why he attacked him. I got paid to attack you. I needed the money. Unemployment doesn't pay rent.
It's tough, man.
Nice use of the scrubs. Fantastic. Great job. Okay. Next up is the CWL Cycle 222. League champion, Nasty Norman Krasner. TV champion, the Wild Card, Garrett Shadowstar. United States champion, Fubar Snafu. Yukon champion, the Philosopher Elijah Davis. Caribbean champion, Milton Snozbuster. Amazon Basin champion, Vincent Torrio. British Isles champion, Mr. Magnificent, Jay Montgomery. Arabian champion, Friend Zone, Frederick Goodfellow. South African champion, Bob Bonecutter. Siberian champion, Dixon Ticonderoga. East Asian champion, Railroad Warrior Spike. Oceanic champion, the Tyrant, David Hammerhead. Tag team champions winning 5 free matches, Wildstar Garrett Shadowstar, the Tyrant David Hammerhead. TV tag team champions Johnny the Wrench Morello and Vincent Torrio. They also took the IWA United States tag team champion, so congratulations. 6-man champions winning 5 free matches, Pop Culture Peter Cross, Bill and Bob Bonecutter. And the TV 6-man champions, the Railroad Warriors of Hammer, Ty, and Spike. So Mr. Anderson, Captain CWL, what do you got for us this cycle?
Well, the only thing I would add to that is it is important to occasionally mention the Battle Royal winner. And the Battle Royal winner winning 25 free matches is Mr. Magnificent Jamie Montgomery.
Doesn't deserve
So
it.
what's going down? I know. Declared for the draft. What's going on? So, what's going down? CWL. We have our write-ups for Wrestle Frenzy that took place in cycle 221 this cycle. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, pretty good stuff in there. I appreciate the contributions that I had helped fill in some of that. If, in case I wasn't clear on the CWL page or the IWAR page, if you're in a match and you want to help with the write-up or you want to do the write-up, just message me, let me know. Cool, if you don't, I'll do it, but it brings more to the match probably if the managers in the match want to do it, but it's fine either way. So that write-up is in there. Controversial ending to the main event. So good stuff, though. I got into the main event. And then our next pay-per-view coming up is Nuclear Warfare, headlined by Continental Champion Barry Stevens and Joe Boring. What do you have for CWL Trash Talk this cycle?
So I want to talk about the sneak attack that Dagger Bomb did on the Philosopher Elijah Davis. He basically just beats the hell out of him. And then he grabs the Western Championship and lays it in front of the Philosopher, and I'll tell him to keep it warm for him because he'll be back for it soon. So, again, once again, Dagger Bomb, nice to see him, TT, back and back with a vengeance, and he's going after Elijah Davis. So I wonder what Elijah Davis is going to do with the Philosopher himself to respond.
I'm guessing there will be a response.
Agreed. So, Matt, what do you got?
I would talk about the Stones. Not the Rolling Stones, but
Kidney
the
Stones?
That's right. Kidney Stones. Two CWL vets who have won the IWAR Tag Championship not too long ago, but they've had a tough time with the Agents of Chaos, our current tag champions. An interesting take on just how tough it is, but they kind of buckle up and say, you know what? We don't care. We're gonna bring the Hillbilly Hell Show. And who doesn't want to see the Hillbilly Hell Show?
Is it like the Donkey Show?
I hope. Oh boy. Oh, that would be unpleasant. But no,
For you.
It's a good promo where they're establishing what they're willing to do to get what they want. Agents of Chaos have been tough, man. I think I feel how people felt when the Von Schnapps were on their incredible run for so long. Damn them.
All right. And as for myself, I had a tough time picking between all the good stuff, but push comes to shove, twist my arm. The couple that I want to spend a little more time on is Dixon Ticonderoga, who has an interview as he returns backstage with Continental Champion Barry Stevens. And more or less, he's making all these justifications for what happens at the end of the main event at Wrestle Frenzy with Jamie Montgomery. So what I really appreciate this, besides the fact that it's well done, and that it's a case where the heel doesn't think he's the heel, right? The villain doesn't think he's the villain. I think that's something that is hard for a lot of managers and players to do, is to transition from one feud to another, right? And I feel like this is a case where organically one feud is going to stem into another feud. So hopefully what would be awesome, I think, is Jamie Montgomery has come up just short in this Continental run. Oop, I just gave the results after I tried so hard not to. But so he gets cheated out, right? But it leads into this feud with Dixon Ticonderoga. So I would love to see a big-time match between those two. And I think that's where it seems like this is heading. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then as I shuffle my papers, because I'm pretty old school, I still like getting the paper bulletin. I would be interested to know what percentage of players are still getting paper bulletins, because I feel like it's got to be under 50%.
It's probably under 5.
I think it's a third.
I think it's just Mr. Riley and myself.
It's at least 2-1. That's what we know for sure.
Well, the 2-1 votes are misrepresentations. So another one I wanted to talk about this cycle was Mike Mason coming back from his CWL championship match with Scotty Flash. He feels like the referee makes a bad call. He's upset, but David Marshall is trying to interview him backstage, which is probably not the best thing to do at that moment. And so he kind of talks about how the match went. He talks about Luther Alexander and how Luther is claiming that Mike Mason has lost his killer instinct.
It's true.
And then he also clarifies his previous comments about Dagger Bomb, and clarifies that he was not saying Dagger Bomb was irrelevant. He was saying that Dagger Bomb, under new leadership, has become a breakout star. So good stuff from Mike Mason. And my last one feels a bit self-serving, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm pretty close with the manager who runs the Monroe family, but they made their debut in the CWL this cycle. So Piper, Ulysses, and Marcus Monroe come out. Fans are really excited to see them. They kind of talk about how it was kind of a bittersweet end against the Midnight Society in the IWL. Now they're here in the CWL. So kind of the ante has been upped, so to speak. And that's my Trash Talk highlights.
Word. Next up is the BRL Cycle number 520, League Champion, winning $50 in IWA credit, Sinister Steve Striker, TV Champion, Sir Gunter Kinderwacht, Atlantic Champion, Mr. Blood, Central Champion, the Russian Rocket, Alexei Smirnov, Dixie Champion, Mr. Stretch is nuts. All right.
Really?
That's what it says.
Okay.
He has the awesome 12-31-2 record, so awesome.
Fantastic.
Eastern Champion, Fatty the Butcher. Mountain Champion, Bruiser, Brett Brown. Northern Champion, Cyrus Demented. Pacific Champion, Steve Whiskey. Prairie Champion, Bad Seed the Boss. Southern Champion, Fester. Western Champion, Luther Alexander. Tag Team Champions, Midnight and Moon Warrior. TV Tag Team Champions, Rick Riley and Rick Challenger. Six-Man Champions, Sax Gotha, Nature Boy Tommy Landell, and Duke Nukem. TV Six-Man Champion, Jake Scarlett, El Dragon de Oro, and the Russian Rocket, Alexei Smirnov. So, Matt, what's going down in the BRL?
Oh, it's complete anarchy. No, the BRL.
It's not even autumn yet.
I know. Well, again, Steve Stryker became the first man to hold the BRL championship 11 times. So he set that record. Sir Gunther's retaining was also impressive. We got a lot going on. A lot of feuds kind of bubbling up. We have the Disciples of Doom who've grown to insane proportions. There's like 20 of them now.
It's like the NWO at the end.
It's shades of it. So hopefully they won't be like, Virgil joining in. But Suburban Hell Savage...
I believe you mean Vincent, sir.
Sorry, Vincent. But Suburban Hill Savages, once again, with fantastic Stellar TT, trying to investigate who broke in and just vandalized the Suburban Hill Savage shrine, Hall of Fame, whatever.
I thought it was a clubhouse.
Clubhouse, that too. Talking about a showdown with Ghostly Shadows and the DOD. The problem is, it's again, the feud is so big, it might take multiple stables to go against the DOD. So who do they team with? I would say you also have, of course, Jimmy North and his continuing saga with the war against Venom Scott, which now has included kind of disrupting the IWAR World Six-Man Champions. Their teamwork has suffered because of the hatred between them. It's a lot of little inner things. And then, of course, I think I will mention, the women's division has kind of bottomed out in a way, in that we lost about half the roster. And in some ways you go, okay, well, I had a feeling it would happen at some point, but we're answering that in a certain thing I'll bring in a second. But what I like to see is Ava Von Snupp had a twisty type turn of events. If you haven't been paying attention, Ava Von Snupp and Alligator, who are enemies, were paired up as a tag team to take on the champions before they left. So they hold the Women's Double X Championship. Only Alligator continues to be a despicable ring wrestler rule breaker, and Ava is not. So Ava came out as Allie was beating on Natalie Bowen, kind of calling her out, saying, look, it's the end of this, but you know what? She goes, maybe you're right. And she has a line where she says, I have to apologize because you have all these titles. Maybe I was wrong. And she gives Allie a big hug, and the fans boo, and then she picks her up and gives her the belly-to-belly suplex out of the ring, and the fans cheer. So what this has done effectively is give us something that, unfortunately, we've seen a lacking of in many years when the women's division wrestling of WWE, a secondary feud, not about the title, we actually want to see something about, happen to. So hopefully we'll see more of that, because we have a lot of good individual characters, but again, there's I think 6 female wrestlers from the DOD, so it's kind of hard to get that going. But I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to that women's division, and again invite anyone who's out there who says, I want to bring a woman wrestler to a league, but not have her fight for the Thong Championship. Well, here's your chance. Mr. Anderson, what did you enjoy about the BRL?
Plenty going on, as can be attested to by the multi-page write-up that appears in your Ringside magazine. But kudos. I'm not sure. I know you probably mentioned who helps out with that, but it's very well done. Little snippets, lots of trash talk in the BRL right now. What I want to talk about is there is someone who has been messing with the Suburban Hell Savages, specifically last cycle, Punk Rock Mike. somebody says that his car's on fire, so he leaves the dressing room to go check on his car. But what happens is a masked man comes into his locker room and like rifles through his things, rifles through his stuff, and rifles through the other members of Suburban Hell Savage's stuff, and then ends up leaving a bunch of it in a toilet that is overflowing. I want to know who is messing with a stable as good as the Suburban Hell Savages, and why you would ever in a million years put Jim Spur's branding iron in a toilet.
Yes.
So that's what I wanted to know. I need to know who the masked man is.
All right.
It's the chameleon.
Dude, if it's the Chameleon X Cycle, I'm gonna lose it. That would be the best.
Cross promotion.
And I want to talk about Sir Gunter Kinderwa and his romance with Jane the Vixen Red. Apparently, she's gotten her claws in so deep that he actually joined the DoD, which is ridiculous. Again, NWO in terms of size. Again, he still hasn't gotten over Ricky Kyles. He still talks about him, but now he's taking shots at some of the women's division. So we have a comment at Barface O'Connor,
who left like 4 cycles ago.
Yeah, I know. They scared him off. I get it. So, bless his heart. Again, he is so in a daze because of Jane the Vixen Red that hopefully he kicks out of it, but we will see.
I will add one more thing about the BRL, because it's important. The IWAR gets a lot of eyes on it, and we like to help other leagues get promotion within the game, help out with their own leagues. And because we have so many people in the IWAR and so many people checking out the IWAR, we like to invite people to want to advertise with us to reach out to us so we can help cross-promote their leagues. And, some of the leagues like the Bloodbath League has reached out to us, or the GNL. So, if you can reach out to us and let us help, your league grow, we like to try to do that. So if you want to know more, contact, as we like to, endorse the leagues that show up in our reports, because it's hard to do that if we don't know much about them.
Moving on, next up is the IWL cycle number 92 league champion, winning 10 free matches for retaining Solomon Graham. Television champion, blank. New York City champion, Norman Spivey. Los Angeles champion, Bubba Bentfender. Boston champion, Matt Jackson. Detroit champion, Dr. Slam. Cleveland champion, Big Blank number 2. Dallas champion, Elroy LaCroix. Memphis champion, TJ Relic. Miami champion, Achilles Leos. San Francisco champion, Kid Montag. Chicago champion, JJ Dallas. Tag team champions retaining their titles, Graham Underwood and Kennedy Cage. TV Tag Team Champions, Fortune 500, Aaron McFleets and Hostile Takeover. 6-man champions, Frederick Xavier, Grant Underwood, and Kennedy Cage. They also retain TV 6-man champions, Pastor Payne, Haruki Fuji, and Achilles Leos. So, Juan Cena, what's going down in the IWL? But right off the bat, you see the cover here, post to post. This is guilty. Why did Alec Von Schnapp conclude with the Russians? I guess we'll find out shortly. Again, we're coming directly out of that pay-per-view, spiraling towards the next pay-per-view, which was King of the Ring. The bracket's already up there. Again, it's a one-cycle tournament, so just keep that in mind. In addition here, in terms of TT, again, right off the bat, we have seen Lucha reacting to the shenanigans at the pay-per-view. We have Alex Von Schnapp kind of explaining why he did what he did. Then we have Ali Atari doing Ali Atari things. Basically, he's trying to try to move on from Tigger Reigns III, and let's see who else he will be able to find in terms of competition moving forward. What do you guys got in terms of TT for this cycle?
Well, I'll be honest, as a big-time lover of mathematics, I've been a little hesitant to embrace the math club, but I have to admit, this last cycle's trash talk made me laugh, and I did enjoy it. They insult basically the entire locker room, they insult the fans, they insult cities. like Detroit and Memphis. But I think my favorite moment in this trash talk, and the reason why I decided I had to talk about this one, instead of talking about the really good trash talk that, say, like the drunk sent in or the LaCroix sent in, I picked this one because they pick up the current playbook, which is a 3-inch binder, and they chuck it into the crowd, and it hits a young boy who tumbles out of his seat and hits the ground. And I don't know why I thought that was funny. It's tragic, you know, a young child got hit. But then Matt Jackson shouts, "Get that kid in the weight room." So just the imagery of this 3-inch binder filled with math facts getting chucked into the crowd. It's like, I got to talk about the math club. So
it's almost as funny as Ricky Kyle getting hit in the head with a baby inside of a baby stroller.
Almost as funny.
Matt, what do you got?
Well, I think what I enjoyed was the apparent sobriety of the drunken camper. So,
Is he on pills now?
The quote, "Maybe the drink is evil." I like the fact that, you know, they call themselves out for lack of success, the change with Kid Montag, you know, kind of an evolution. I like to see that in the characters because, you know, change is good, keeps things shaking up, and I like the direction they're going.
Man, I dig that. You know what I really enjoy? I really enjoyed Neo Dragon's TT. I like it for two reasons. Number one, he is preparing for War Games, which is awesome, with his team. So they're at a Marine Corps air-ground combat station, and they're working together, working on their skills. His team consists of Senior Lucha Aliatari, James Braddock, and Colt McQuaid. So I really like the fact that they're you know, this is basically a training vignette, which is awesome. So nice job there. And at the end, it says "See you at War Games," which is awesome. I really dig that. You have the LaCroix doing all kinds of shenanigans and tomfoolery just because they're, you know, I think they're pretty salty about not being in TMS anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty salty about that.
And they super kicked Dr. Victory.
They did.
They did. Seems like a low blow to me, but...
What happened to Dr. Victory?
He went inactive like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was super excited to get him because he did pretty well in the NWL, but then that was it. So I like the fact that they're super kicking random IWL wrestlers as Kenny Loggins plays. But I'm just curious about which Kenny Loggins songs it is because I'm a big Kenny Loggins fan personally. I know I should be not admitting this on the internet at all. Is it Danger Zone? Is it Meet Me Halfway? What do you? I think it's Danger Zone.
It's got to be dangerous.
Right. Remember that video where Kenny Loggins like a fucking he kidnaps that underage girl in the video?
Yep. Oh, that's crazy.
Like, Kenny, what are you doing?
Things you could get away with in
1983? Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, that girl is clearly underage in that video, and her parents are upset. And then they have a gang fight at the end, which is awesome. Go watch that video again. It's fucking sweet. Again, we have fantastic TT here from TJ Relic and JJ Dallas. Those guys are always doing fantastic stuff. So I like the fact that it's always the details. Devil's always in the details. I like the fact that he has the Los Angeles Championship and has the big IWL logo on it. So that's pretty neat. I dig that. I think these guys are headed towards they need a really, really big feud, and I think that's coming up shortly. So we'll see how it goes moving forward for these guys. I think they're going to do great stuff coming up. We have the Chaotix not doing anything interesting, so we're going to move on from them.
Those guys are boring. NXT name generator.
You're still salty about that, huh?
I mean, it's only been 2 years.
Yeah. And then we have TT from the league champion, the reigning and defending back-to-back league champion, Solomon Graham. Again, I know I'm going to have a hard time in drafting him because I know Mr. Anderson desperately wants Solomon Graham, but I'm going to try to draft him first. So we're going to see how that goes. He's really going after Rex Rude here. Again, Rude is making a lot of enemies real fast here in the IWL. But I think overall, if you look at the totality of the NWL TT, not only in terms of quantity, but in terms of content, I think it's fantastic. They had a really, really nice cycle. You had great TT from Noble House. Nice to see them back. Tim Riggins has been consistent, like what he's doing. You have James Braddock and Colt McQuaid, now known as Magnum Force, as a tag team. Again, just Luther stuff is always neat to see. So again, a nice job with the TT overall. If you guys really like the TT, the IWL is the league for you, because it's just so much stuff going on all the time, and they're doing a great job overall.
I think you had stepped away to take care of some business. But I was talking with Mr. Riley.
I was pooping.
Okay. I was trying to be delicate. But I really think that this cycle's trash talk was even better than it normally is. I think the IWL trash talk was definitely upped its already very solid game.
Because even if you look at like a Rex Rude who's talking about his Grand Prix series with Aaron McFleece, I mean, that's just, it's fantastic. And then you have TMS with their bar graphs of members, which is hilarious to me. And then, it's so much fantastic stuff going on across the board here. I don't want to gush too long about it, but they did a really great job, guys.
It was a good cycle.
So Matt, what do you got IWAR wide?
IWAR wide. Well, you're in luck because there's a lot going on and a lot happening means more fun, more action, more excitement. What does it all mean for you? Well, we launched the Bound for Glory series and took it a new direction. We changed the format, so it's 15 wrestlers in 2 different brackets, so 30 total, head-to-head matchups, and we had the first round this cycle, and the current leaders, which won't pop up on my computer screen because that'll be too easy. So, technical difficulties are, right now at this moment, the top scorers in the first round are Dr. Slam, Hostile Takeover, Graham Underwood, TJ Relic, and Alexei Smirnov, all with 6 points. So it works like this. You get 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, none for a loss. You will have these rounds, they're 3-match rounds. So there's 3 matches each round, except for one wrestler in each bracket will have a cycle off because of the odd pairings. So don't worry too much. Everyone gets to miss one cycle of match. So if you luck out, it's a cycle where you have a bad score. If you don't, it's all right. You got 5 cycles to go through. At the end of these 5 cycles, the top scorer from the A block and B block will advance to the finals. The tiebreaker will be the higher average between the 2 wrestlers. It'll be interesting to see how it happens. Still a lot of time left, but I was really kind of pleasantly surprised. The IWL had a strong cycle scoring-wise, and you had someone like Sir Gunter Kinderwacht who had a 495, but ran into the really hot Dr. Slam, who beat him at 1 point. So you can go anyway. You don't know what's going to happen. So anyone's game, it's still early. So we'll see that. We're going to announce the pairings for the Triple D Cup 6-man tournament. That'll be coming up this coming cycle. The IWAR draft, of course, is coming up. If you haven't declared, don't be a dick. Let us know, because if you do one of those things where you're like, the day the report comes out and it's like, the draft is in 2 days on October 18th, and go, I want to be in the draft, we're going to go, no, you're not. No, you're not. You waited too long. Fuck this shit. Every year it happens. Stop doing it. Tell us now. Get your stuff to us. We're going to do a draft preview issue. It's going to rock. I've got so many good submissions from players to outline their wrestlers, why they should be drafted higher, what makes their wrestler stand out. It's going to be a really cool issue. Get involved, get in on it, because you don't want to pass it up. Because every year somebody passes up and goes, oh, I really meant to do that. I want to be in it. And we go, well, yeah, not this time. No. Autumn Anarchy's coming up in the BRL. We have War Games coming up in the IWL. And the Tag Team Derby is going to be coming up. I'm going to talk about that next time. And at some point, we'll pull off the 4th annual Ladder Match Battle Royal, but not right now.
So, Mr. Anderson, do you have any CWL events that you want to talk about?
Yeah, that Combustible Elements event.
You don't seem very excited about it for some reason.
I am really excited. I'm a little concerned that it
That I'm in it and that I'm going to win it? Is that why you're concerned? Because you should be. So I don't want to take all 75% of the entry fees.
Definitely my chief concern is your entry.
I know. Are you afraid that people are going to back out because I entered this now?
Yes. So I'm a little concerned with the number of entries. Although I did get a few today, I've had a number of people who have stated their intention to join on the IWAR page. So hopefully that event is as big as I would love to see it be. That would be the big kind of IWAR wide.
I do have a question though.
Event. Yes, sir.
I know that wrestlers get randomly placed in a 6-man team, but what if you have an odd number of guys?
Good question. My plan is to enter a number of my wrestlers that will even it out.
Okay.
So if we need, if we have an odd number and I should enter 3 people to even it all out, I'll enter 3 of my guys.
Okay.
So that's my plan.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So it's 75%. It's 75% of the entry fee. Again, the entry fee is $2. It's due by September 25th, so that's coming up in about 10 days.
Yeah.
The runner-up will get 25% of the entry fee. So it's a good contest.
Everything's coming back. So right, if we get if we can get let's just say 50 people, that's $100. 75% to the winner is $75 in credit.
Yeah. That'd
be pretty ridiculous.
That can last some players almost the entire year.
I mean, that could probably last me half of a cycle. So, good stuff. Good stuff. I do want to briefly mention the Four Corners Invitational finished up, and I would like to congratulate the current Revolution champion, Sinister Steve Stryker, for winning the Four Corners. Yeah. He won by a large margin. So he won the finals. He wins 10 free matches. And it sounds like, if I remember Mr. Riley correctly, if and when he ever loses the Revolution Championship, he has banked this title shot for that following cycle. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So he has banked a title shot, a rematch, essentially, right, for winning this year's Four Corners Invitational. The only other thing I wanted to mention briefly, I know it's not IWAR wide, and I should have mentioned it earlier, the Tantum tournaments are beginning. 15 teams started, so 8 have advanced, and so now the kind of consolation bracket has begun for the first to determine the first deluxe Tantum tag team champion. So if you are interested in tag team wrestling, the CWL is, I think, the place to be. We have 17 teams in the Tantum division now. So many teams that we created essentially what is like a I don't want to say mid-card, but an intercontinental type championship because we have so many tag teams.
U.S. tag team.
Yeah. So we have the Supreme Tantum and the Deluxe Tantum now. So those first champions will be determined over the next few cycles.
Which one's the higher belt, Supreme or the Deluxe?
Good question. I often wondered that same thing, right? Because when I decided to go with those distinctions, there are some cases where it seems like Supreme is more, and some cases where it seems like Deluxe is more. But Supreme is more toppings on pizza, so Supreme won out. Supreme is the top, Deluxe is the secondary. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
I can follow up with our IWAR World Championship review. All right, so in IWAR World Championship news, Russian Roulette Alexei Smirnov rallied to defeat Gary Galaxy from the NWL with a 493 to 491 average of 3 cycles. The new number one contender challenging Alexei for the IWAR World Championship is a former champion, Graham Underwood.
All right.
Yep. That makes one guy happy, at least.
What a piece of shit this guy is.
IWAR World Tag Champions retained against Bad Company. They are on top of their game, and they will now face the new number one contenders, Luther Alexander and Tim Riggins III. Also out of the IWL.
I want to mention, can I just...
Yeah.
interject. The Monroes held the IWC Tag Team Championships for a long time and could never be the highest ranked tag team. And freaking Luther Alexander, 1 or 2 cycles after, is getting the IWL a tag team title shot. So I'm a little upset that the Monroes could never get over that hump. But then the team that took the titles from them are the next challengers.
Well,
here's the deal. Since we had that pay-per-view match, we know that Luther and Tim Riggins are clearly better than the Monroes. Hence, that's why they get the title shot. So
it's the only conclusion you could come to.
That's correct.
Well, here's the 2-point answer. One is the Monroes would have had that shot had they retained.
Oh!
2 is because the champs are from the CWL and the challengers from the BRL, and the NWL tag title was vacant. There was only one possible option, and that was the IWL. So they sort of had the perfect storm of locking into the championship shot. So
kind of backdoor their way into that shot.
Right.
Not that Juan Cena would ever backdoor into anything.
It's true. Right. I've had experience.
And then I would say the second part of the answer is have them talk to Barry Stevens about not getting a title shot. He's had that belt for a while now. No shot. Poor Barry. But in other good news of the IWL sort, Graham Underwood, Kennedy Cage, and Frederick Xavier of the IWL defeated the long-running IWAR World Championship 6-man trio of Alexei Smirnoff, Jake Scarlett, and El Dragon de Oro in a 4-point series win. So they have claimed those belts after a long wait, and they will now face the number 1 contenders from the CWL, Peter Cross and the Bone Cutter Brothers.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What a kick in the crotch that is.
Yeah, finally I defeated that team that beat everyone. Oh, I have to fight the other team that beats everyone.
Yeah. This is not totally IWAR news, it's BRL news, but on a greater scale. I have negotiated with the IWA a new bonus if you send Trash Talk to the BRL and you use the $12 match deal, you gain an additional 10 scrub wins. So instead of the 20 free scrub wins, you get 30. But only if you Trash Talk, and of course, only if you let them know this. Because if you don't, it won't happen. So there's a little bonus for you. In other sort of news, we have a unification match series coming up where we're going to have the top 4 women champions and top contenders in a 4-way ladder match to determine the women's unified championship. And we're going to have the 4 men for it's going to be the Saskatchewan Sasquatch and his number 1 contender, the Black Superstar Bobby Bedlam, Chief Bold Gray Fox, the Canadian champion, and his number 1 contender, the Extreme Icon Hannibal, in a fatal 4-way match to determine the unified champion. Why is this important? Because unified champions will earn 5 free matches in the BRL every cycle they hold the belt. So there's that. The BRL, we're changing things up a bit, where instead of tracking everybody's strats, you're going to declare your wrestlers either being in the unified division or the global division. The difference is this. The unified division fights for a prize of 5 free matches. The global division fights for the chance to challenge for the IWAR World Championship. So you have to decide what's more valuable to you, what you want your wrestler to shoot for. So you can have one wrestler chase one, another chase the other. It's up to you, but you have to make the call. Ta-da!
All right, fantastic. Now, in terms of IWL-related news, again, King of the Ring, it will be our next pay-per-view. If I had to pick someone to win it right now, it's probably going to be Kid Montag is my pick. To take it all and become King Montag, perhaps. We'll see how that goes. Also, we're at the finals of the Best of the Best tournament. It's going to be Atari taking on TJ Relic. The winner gets 10 free matches and a shot at the Pan American Championship at Starrcade. Right now, we're still running the 4-pack challenge. We have Underwood and Cage, who has left the rest of the competition in the dust. They have 20 points. The next closest would be the Drunks at 6 points. So it looks like it's all but a foregone conclusion, unless someone wins back-to-back tag team titles and such. So don't see that happening. So again, it looks like the Chaotix has punched their ticket to Starcade. Oh yeah, War Games. Get me your money by this cycle. Don't forget, you're not going to be in it. We had a slight issue. I'll explain. We had a slight issue the last couple of days because I'm getting people, and it's cool. We're getting a lot more people who are entering guys in individually. Like, so there's more multi-manager teams, which is fine. But if you're going to be a multi-manager, if you're going to have a wrestler on a multi-manager team, please tell me what team they're on, because I'm getting random emails from the IWA saying so-and-so has entered War Games, and I have no idea what team they're on. So just keep that in mind. Anything else, Mr. Anderson? You always like to interrupt me when I'm doing my outro.
Nope. I think I'll wait. I'll wait for your outro.
Okay. All right, guys. So we are officially out of time. So for Mr. Anderson, for Matt Riley, I am Juan Cena.